Prime Minister is globe-trotting, finding new and expanding markets for Canadian business. Given the current climate with our largest trading partner to the south. In this Zoomcast, we're discussing Brazil. Brazil is a South American country with a population of about 215 million people. They have a GDP just over $2.2 trillion in US dollars. It's very close to Canadian GDP. So, where are the trade opportunities? What do they have that we need, and what do we have that they need? And what are the barriers to entering the Brazilian market? To help us with the good, the bad, and the ugly of doing business in the jurisdiction outside of North America is Peter Hawkins. Peter is the president of MELLOHAWK Logistics, a company that provides end-to-end shipping logistics around the globe. He's an award-winning entrepreneur and the chair of the Mississauga Board of Trade International Trade Committee. And we welcome him today. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you so much. I'll make a tiny little adjustment. I'm a senior vice president. Arno Mello is the president, and he's the Mello and MELLOHAWK, so he got top billing.
No, we're making you president today. You just got a promotion.
There you go. I'll take it. He's on
Make
vacation.
sure you go get some more money.
Yeah, there you go. So these days,
so Peter, you do an extensive amount of business. You're also you started the Canadian Brazilian Chamber of Commerce as well.
Yeah.
So Brazil is very, very near and dear to your heart. You speak the language as well, which is, a barrier that most of us are going to come up against when we try to do business in Brazil. So let's start with the good. What's the good part about doing business in Brazil? What do they have that we need? What do we have that they need?
What they have that we need is curiosity. I will tell you right now, this is a moment, and Brazil is very interested in Canada. They are interested because Canada is known for compliance and doing good. And those two components are very, very valuable because it means the products that are sold into Brazil are, of course, worthy and will be long-lasting, and there won't be some planned obsolescence happening or something like that. So right off the bat, I think the attitude is very, very important. Brazilians are early adopters. They love foreign things, but they love quality. And they know very little about Canada. So that is why we need to really move forward and promote Canada. And Canada, the government is already doing it. There's, I think, 26 trade commissioners in several cities throughout Brazil, primarily in São Paulo and Rio, but in the north and in the south, there's lots of other representation. We already have a very strong natural resources sector that we share with Brazil, both in forestry products, in potash for farming, and in mining. So there is a base for us to start. However, when we're looking at companies that are in Mississauga and the companies that we should be thinking about, life sciences is enormous. Health and beauty is enormous. Now, fintech is enormous in Brazil, not here. So if we have a fintech company developing something here, they should go to Brazil and talk to them. What I think we have to remember, though, is the audience is there, the numbers are there, the people are ready and open and accepting. But let's talk about some of the obstacles. Language is number one. Portuguese is a tough language to learn. It is a tough language to adapt in. Most of the younger people, I would say most people under 45 do speak English and can do business in English and be very confident in English. But because we're coming from the outside in, we have to show two things. We're there for the long haul. And if the thing needs to be serviced, they can get it done locally. So you do have to have a Brazilian partner. The next thing that's sort of an obstacle is red tape and all the hassles of getting your goods there. However, the companies, freight forwarders, do it every day, all the time. And what you need to do is have a professional who is shipping the goods down for you. And so when that is happening, you're not going to have the obstacles that so many people have of shipping their stuff and having it held by customs or destroyed because they didn't do the proper paperwork and didn't do it in a timely way. So Those are
Peter,
kind of
when
the obstacles.
along those lines of the paperwork that's done, when you and I have chatted before, we've talked about, the number of steps that
Hmm.
need to be taken in order to get a product into Brazil. When we look at, if we go to the next door province to us, Manitoba, maybe the steps are a little bit fewer. We go to the United States, the steps are not as great. But when we start moving into some of the South American countries, the steps that you need to go through to get a product in there can be quite extensive. So how does that in the Brazilian sphere, are there a lot of steps that we need to go through, and that's why we need to deal with professionals?
Yes, and so and it goes on both sides too. So a lot of Brazilians need permission to import, and they don't know that they need permission. So the first question has to be, have you done it before? And if they have not, then you have to investigate. Can that company actually import your goods? Now, getting the official permission is called radar, and it is pretty simple to apply for, and it's just another bureaucratic thing, but you can apply, and if provided you fill out all the stuff and you are a legitimate importer and or perhaps reseller, then you can do that, or you use a trading company who already has the license, and you can go through them. So right off the bat, you need to find out, can you actually first you visit Brazil. First, you take your stuff, you go down, you visit Brazil, you handshake, you see the faces, you show your product, they want to buy. Then you be a good boyfriend, not a bad boyfriend, and you follow up when you come back and you say, okay, thank you, I'm following up right away. Are you interested? Great. So great, they buy. Then you make sure that they are allowed to buy, they have the permission to buy. Then you make sure that they have a forwarder, because in Canada, we can pay something on an Incoterm called DDP. We can pay all the duties and taxes all the way to the foreign, the buyer. And in Brazil, you cannot. You have to do it to the border or to the point of first contact, an airport or whatever it might be. And from then on, they have to pay and take care of it. And something else that is very important to understand in Brazil, that depending on the municipality, depending on the airport, the port of entry, the port or airport, depending on what the business sector is, there are different taxes and discounts. So some taxes do apply, some do not. Some get discounts, some do not. And you need to use a professional who is able to assess those, because there's nearly 300 different permutations of what can happen when you import something into Brazil. You must use someone who is an expert. It is one of the most complicated regions to import to. However, it is very doable once you know how, and you have your system in play. Go ahead, Dave.
And Peter, when you mentioned that you should go to Brazil, and that's always the best way to get familiar with the country, with the people, and understand how to do these things. Safety is a big issue for people when they visit foreign countries, and many people look at Brazil and say, "Ooh, I'm not so sure about the safety there." So help us understand, or help people that are thinking about doing business in Brazil. What are the safety measures that you need to take? Is it the same as going into any other big city, or
It,
are there
it really
extenuating
is.
circumstances?
It really is. You should just be hyper aware. It's funny. The safety issue is something that Brazilians propagate. They are the worst ambassadors for their own country, because they're constantly saying, "Oh, you're going to Rio? It's so dangerous." I have been at Carnival in Rio multiple times. I'm a big fat pink gringo. I'm the kind of guy you should rob, and nothing's ever happened to me. Okay. And so the key is you go and you be aware, because what actually you hear some terrible things that have happened, and some terrible things have happened, but really it's petty crime. It's pickpocketing. Well, you go to Barcelona, it happens. You go to Paris, it happens. You go to New York, it happens. You go to, anywhere, it could happen. So what I think, be aware of your safety. Don't be standing out with your phone. Don't wear too much jewelry. Don't be a target. But also travel in a group. Make sure you have connections there. Talk to the Trade Commissioner Service. Talk to all your partners. They will instruct you on how to do everything. And also remember, Brazil is a big country. It's not just São Paulo. It's not Rio. There's lots of business happening in Porto Alegre in the south, in Minas Gerais, in Santa Catarina, in Espírito Santo, in Ceará in the north, in Fortaleza in the north. These are huge regions with distances from St. John, New Brunswick to Whitehorse, and completely different atmosphere, completely different idea, all full of very sophisticated potential business partners. So
And if you want to go to Brazil, you got to talk to a professional, just like Peter Hawkins, the Senior Vice President from MELLOHAWK. Peter, thanks for being with us. This is David Wojcik for MBOT TV.